Hola clase, hoy el tópico de nuestro video es ir a más un infinitivo. Usamos esta fórmula para decir going to do something. So we use this formula, and I'll show you how to form it, to say that we're going to do something, or in other words, to talk about future actions. La meta para este video, so our goal for this video, yo puedo identificar el presente y el futuro. Yo puedo formar el futuro. So first our goal is to be able to identify present tense and future tense, to be able to tell the difference when we're reading or when we're listening, and also to form the future tense, that you are able to write it in a sentence. A leer. Normalmente yo juego al fútbol en el parque, pero mañana yo voy a jugar al golf. Generalmente, mis amigos y yo comemos en Chili's, pero este fin de semana nosotros vamos a comer a Buffalo Wild Wings. Luis y Pablo tocan la guitarra en una banda. Mañana ellos van a tocar en un concierto. Después de las clases, yo estudio y hago mi tarea, pero en el verano no voy a estudiar ni hacer la tarea. Alright, clase, quiero que ustedes piensen en estas frases. Think about these sentences. What's the difference between the two verbs that I've used? For example, here, yo juego al fútbol en el parque, but then here I have yo voy a jugar al golf. ¿Qué es la diferencia? What's the difference between the two? Why did I use juego here and voy a jugar al golf? What idea am I trying to express? And número dos, mis amigos y yo comemos en Chili's, so generally my friends and I eat at Chili's, pero este fin de semana nosotros vamos a comer a Buffalo Wild Wings, but this weekend we're going to eat at Buffalo Wild Wings. Número tres, Luis y Pablo tocan la guitarra en una banda, so they play the guitar in a band. Mañana, which you know means tomorrow, mañana, ellos van a tocar en un concierto. Tomorrow they're going to play in a concert. Después de las clases yo estudio y hago mi tarea, pero en el verano no voy a estudiar ni hacer tarea. So, I study and I do my homework after class, but in the summer I'm not going to study or do my homework. Do you get the idea? Juego, comemos, tocan, estudio, hago. Those are present tense verbs. We use them for something I'm doing or something I do in general, a present tense action. Voy a jugar, vamos a comer, van a tocar, no voy a estudiar. Those are future actions. Notice the words, the clue words. Mañana, tomorrow, este fin de semana, this weekend, mañana otra vez, en el verano. Those kind of project our action to the future. And so present tense really wouldn't be appropriate. Instead, I'm going to express this idea with ir plus a plus infinitive in order to express the future tense. Let's review el presente. So remember, with present tense, when we're talking about things that we do or things that we are doing, we can use the present tense. Remember, for AR verbs, the endings are o, as, a, amos, an. For example, the verb hablar, hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, hablan. For ER and IR verbs, remember that the endings are o, es, e, hemos, imos for those IR verbs, and en. Por ejemplo, yo como, tú comes, él come, nosotros comemos, ellos comen. Or yo comparto, tú compartes, él comparte, nosotros compartimos, ellos comparten. Okay? Unos ejemplos. Yo paso tiempo con mis amigos. ¿Qué comes para el almuerzo? Amelia comparte su pizza conmigo. Nosotros vivimos en Lockport. Ellos juegan al basketball. So again, these are present tense verbs. So yo paso tiempo con mis amigos. I spend time with my friends. It's giving an idea of generally. Generally, I spend time with my friends. ¿Qué comes para el almuerzo? Again, comes is a present tense verb. So we're saying generally. What do you eat for lunch? Amelia comparte su pizza conmigo. Amelia shares her pizza with me. Again, present tense expression. Y una foto. El futuro. Ir a infinitivo. So, when we're expressing what we're going to do, there's a little formula that we can use. Ir a infinitivo. Now we've been talking about how when we have two verbs in the same clause or part of the same action, we conjugate the first and we leave the second as the infinitive. This is an example of when that happens. So we're going to conjugate our first verb, which I hope you guys recognize, is ir. So we're going to use the forms of ir, voy, vas, va, vamos, y van. Use whichever one is appropriate for your subject, for the person doing the action. The next two words are going to be a and then an infinitive. And remember, infinitive is the most basic form of the verb. Infinitives always end in AR, ER, or IR. So you're going to have two verbs. Ir is your first verb. And then the infinitive, whatever your action that you're going to do is, conjugate ir, and then the infinitive. A is in between to connect the two. Okay, so let's look at these examples. Before I had said, yo paso tiempo con mis amigos. I spend time with my friends. Now, I'm going to say, yo voy a pasar tiempo con mis amigos, which means I'm going to spend time with my friends. This gives the idea that I'm going to do it in the future. ¿Qué vas a comer para el almuerzo? Before I had, ¿qué comes? What do you eat? Now I'm saying, ¿qué vas a comer? What are you going to eat for lunch? Amelia va a compartir su pizza conmigo. Before I had said, Amelia comparte su pizza conmigo. Amelia shares her pizza with me. Present tense. But now look, I have our little formula for future. Amelia va a compartir. She is going to share her pizza with me. 4. Nosotros vamos a vivir en Lockport. So we are going to live in Lockport at some point in the future. 5. Ellos van a jugar al básquetbol. They are going to play basketball. Whereas ellos juegan al básquetbol, they play, maybe in general, maybe every day. This idea, however, ellos van a jugar, they are going to play at some point in the future. Okay? A lot of times in English, we kind of throw everything together and we say gonna. Okay, so another way you can look at this, número 1, yo voy a pasar tiempo con mis amigos. I'm gonna spend time with my friends. Ok, clase, a practicar. Copia las dos columnas. Dibuja una línea para conectar las dos frases que se corresponden. So copy these two columns in your notes, por favor. You have the left side, which is all Spanish, the right side, which is all English, and I want you to draw a line in your notes to connect the two that correspond. Now be careful, some are in the present tense and some are in the future tense. So pay attention to which one corresponds with the other. Pause the video now so you can complete this task. Alright, clase, a ver las respuestas. So yo canto karaoke. I sing karaoke. Número 2. Mi familia y yo vamos a ir a Florida para una vacación. Now, looking at this, we see Florida, we see vacación. I have two options that maybe were possible. I see Florida here, I see Florida here with vacation. My clue is, though, vamos a ir. And remember, we just talked about how this is our formula, ir plus a plus our infinitive. Okay, so no, that's future. So let's look for our option that's future. My family and I are going to go to Florida for vacation. Número 3. ¿Lees revistas? Lees, present tense verb. Do you read magazines? Vas a leer revistas. A little bit different. Look how this is different. We have our form of ir, a, and then we have our infinitive leer. We know it's an infinitive, again, because it ends in er. So vas a leer revistas is a little bit different, and this expresses the idea, are you going to read magazines at some point in the future? 5. Ellos hablan mucho por teléfono. What do you think? Present tense verb. Hablan mucho por teléfono, so they speak a lot on the phone. Número 6. Mi familia y yo vamos a ir, lo siento, mi familia y yo vamos a Florida para vacación. Okay, so now we have just vamos, present tense verb. Okay. Ellos van a hablar mucho por teléfono. They are going to speak on the phone. Y yo voy a cantar karaoke. I'm going to sing karaoke. Goes up here. Because again, whereas this first one I have yo canto, present tense. We conjugated cantar for the yo form because yo is my subject, present tense, yo canto karaoke. Down here, I have ir, my form of ir, it's voy, because yo is my subject. So yo voy, ir plus a plus our infinitive, which is cantar. I'm going to sing karaoke. Okay? If there were any you got wrong, go ahead and take a look back, maybe review the first part of the video and try and figure out why. If you're still confused, write a note so that you can ask me about it tomorrow. La segunda parte de la práctica. Reescribe cada frase en el futuro. Después, escribe las dos frases en inglés. Sigue el modelo. So you have two tasks here. The first one, change this present tense action to a future action. Número dos, write each one in English so that you're reminding yourself the difference between the two. And I want to make sure that you understand the difference between present and future. Okay, so first, you're writing the action in Spanish in the future using a form of ir and a and an infinitive. Look back through your notes to help you. Secondly, you're going to write both sentences, the present one and the future one, in English. Pause the video now so you can complete this task. Alright, clase, y las respuestas. We have, número uno, nosotros escuchamos música, is we listen to music. Nosotros vamos a escuchar música. We are going to listen to music. So again, the difference is, nosotros escuchamos. We conjugated escuchar according to our present tense endings. We know nosotros is our subject, so we know we had to use amos. Here, we wanted future, and so we need to use a form of ir, which in this case is vamos, because our subject is nosotros. So vamos, then a, then our infinitive. Vamos a escuchar música. We are going to listen to music. Número dos, ella ve la televisión. Remember that expression, ver la televisión? To watch TV, so ella ve la televisión, she watches TV. Futuro, ella va a ver la televisión. Okay, so again, ella is my subject, so the form of ir that we need is va. Then a, then my infinitive. In this case, my infinitive, my verb in its most basic form, is ver. Va a ver. She is going to watch TV. ¿Esquías en las montañas? Do you ski in the mountains? Present tense. ¿Vas a esquiar? Are you going to ski in the mountains? Probably should have put vas a esquiar en las montañas. Are you going to ski in the mountains? 4. Los estudiantes usan la computadora. The students use the computer. Present tense, because my verb is conjugated in the present tense right here. Now we have los estudiantes van a usar la computadora. They are going to use the computer. Or again, maybe you're thinking of it as they're gonna use the computer at some point in the future. So van, because los estudiantes is my subject and we want the appropriate form of ir because we're conjugating that. Then a, usar, a infinitive. And then número 5. Yo voy de pescas. I go fishing. Yo voy a ir de pescas. I'm going to go fishing. Now, this means that we've used ir twice. We have my form of ir because we're conjugating our first verb. So voy. And then we have ir again. That's because we're using the verb to go twice. I'm going to go. Okay? All right, clase, make sure that you've written down any questions that you might have that you want to ask me before our quiz tomorrow. Hasta mañana.